At the beginning of the movie, we see a father and daughter, Tobias and Nora, climbing the Troll Mountains. When they reach the mountain peak, Tobias tells his daughter Nora an ancient story about the Troll Mountains. He explains that many years ago, a species made of earth and stone lived on this land, but one day, humans deceived and killed them. Since then, these beings have been transformed into mountains. Tobias believes these stories are true, but no one else is willing to believe these old legends. The scene fast forwards, showing us the present day, 20 years later. Nora, who once believed her father's stories, chose science over the mystical world and is now an archaeologist, specializing in uncovering the bones of ancient creatures. For the past 6 months, she has been working on an excavation in those same mountains. During the dig, she and her team discover the skeletal face of a massive creature and celebrate the find. Nearby, the government is constructing an underground train terminal in the Troll Mountains, which the local people protest against, saying, "Let the mountains live." The construction site chief, however, defiantly detonates explosives on the mountain despite the protesters. As he and his team enter a nearby cave to inspect it, they suddenly hear a powerful roar, and the ground begins to shake violently. Then, a gigantic creature appears, and everyone frantically tries to escape. However, due to the rapidly falling rocks, no one manages to make it out. Soon, news of the incident reaches the Norwegian military headquarters, where a general orders a plane to capture clear images of the site to determine what actually happened. He instructs his team to report the incident to the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, we see the Norwegian Prime Minister and her advisor, Andreas, receiving news of the incident while in a car. The Defense Minister briefs them online with video and images of the site, where around 50 people had died so far. At the site, there was a large shell and some huge markings, which Andreas believes might be footprints, though the Prime Minister dismisses his input on the matter. At the same time, Nora is celebrating with her colleague when a military helicopter arrives to take her to the Prime Minister's office. Andreas greets her at the headquarters and escorts her to the meeting room, where several high officials are discussing the mountain incident. Government officials believe the destruction was due to a gas leak, but Nora, after observing the footprints at the site, offers her expert opinion that these are clearly the footprints of an ancient creature. Her suggestion prompts laughter from everyone in the room, who dismiss her opinion entirely. At that moment, a computer genius named Sigrid arrives and shows a video from a hacked mobile phone, recorded just before the incident, clearly showing a massive creature emerging from within the mountain. The scene shifts to a remote area near the mountains, where a couple is preparing afternoon tea. Suddenly, their dishes and tables start shaking. They run to an underground safe area to protect themselves. When the vibrations finally stop, they emerge, shocked to see their home completely destroyed. Back at the base, Nora tells the Prime Minister she is willing to conduct a full investigation, and the officials agree to include her as a scientific advisor to the team. Nora and Andreas set off in a helicopter toward the incident site. On the way, Andreas asks Nora why she chose to become an excavation expert. She explains her love for nature, inspired by her father, who used to tell her stories about these places when she was a child. Her father was a professor of ancient legends at a Norwegian university, but his obsession with those stories had cost him his career and stability. Andreas shares that he once wanted to be a writer and even wrote a story about a headless monk. From the helicopter, Nora spots a destroyed house and asks the pilot to land there. They meet Captain Chris, the operation commander for the incident, who briefs them on the situation and introduces Nora to the elderly couple. The couple explains that they didn't see anyone. They hid in an underground safe space as soon as the house began to shake. During this time, they heard an odd, deep roar like the sound of King Kong. Nora inspects the area and notices a strange smell that leads her to the footprint of the creature. She scans the site but finds no traces of any living species. In the end, she decides to seek her father's help. Shortly afterward, she reaches his remote location, where he greets her with a shotgun. Nora calms him down and explains the entire situation. Inside his house, she is surprised to find that he is still searching for the mythical creature, the troll. She shows him the video from the excavation site, and he and Nora exchange whispers, concluding that the troll has indeed returned. However, Nora does not fully believe him and demands a scientific explanation. Her father replies that he is 100% sure of the troll's existence. Tobias takes his bag and invites them on an adventure to the mountains. On the helicopter, he pulls out a map and starts matching it with the mountain range. Suddenly, he notices some changes in the mountains and orders the helicopter to land. Tobias examines the surroundings, and once again, Nora senses that strange smell. Suddenly, an eye appears from a massive rock, and moments later, it reveals itself as a gigantic creature the size of King Kong. The creature had camouflaged itself to blend in with nature. It was the legendary creature Tobias had searched for years, the troll. The group flees, quickly capturing a video of the creature and sending it to military headquarters. Seeing such a massive creature shocks everyone, but the old man laughs, knowing that people will now believe him. The Prime Minister immediately orders the military to attack and eliminate it. The military, armed with the country's best weapons, launches an assault, but their weapons have no effect. The troll, enraged, attacks and devours one of the soldiers. Tobias steps forward to calm it, and the creature seems to quiet down for a moment. However, another military vehicle starts firing again, and the giant crushes it with its foot and accidentally knocks Tobias away with its tail, sending him flying. Nora rushes to her father, who tries to say something to her, but dies before he can. That night, Nora reads her father's notebook to learn more about the giant. She discovers that these giants once threw rocks at churches, as they were deeply disturbed by the sound of church bells. Back at the base, she shares this information. The defense minister is unimpressed with the idea, but the prime minister approves it. In the next scene, 4 helicopters approach the troll with huge bells dangling beneath them. At first, the giant creature is highly irritated by the sound of the bells, but it soon becomes accustomed to it and attacks the helicopters, destroying them. This failure deeply disappoints Nora as her plan goes wrong. However, during this rampage, the troll unexpectedly saves a child from a falling helicopter, hinting that this stone giant has some emotions. The news of this giant creature quickly spreads worldwide. The Prime Minister gives a speech on television, assuring the public that they will soon deal with the creature. She also declares a state of emergency across the country and orders an evacuation of Oslo, as plans to drop a nuclear bomb on the city are underway. This drastic plan disheartens Andreas, who resigns in protest, and Nora, feeling hopeless, also leaves. As they drive out of the city together, Nora reads her father's diary again and repeatedly finds the word Sinding. She doesn't understand its meaning until Andreas explains that Sinding is the last prince of Oslo, residing in the royal palace. Nora immediately instructs Andreas to head toward the royal palace. There, they meet Rikard Sinding, who reveals that he has been expecting them. He leads them to the palace basement and explains that her father was absolutely right about the troll. He admits that he and other high-ranking officials ruined her father's life to keep this secret. When her father persisted, they even had him committed to a mental hospital. Sinding then shows them the bones of the troll family kept in a large hall within the basement. The palace itself, he reveals, is built atop the ancient cave of the Troll King. Here, they learn that the people had lured one of the Troll King's children into the mountain and killed the rest of his family. The creature had been dormant inside the mountain until the recent explosion woke it, and it's now headed toward the palace to reunite with its family. Sinding explains that trolls hold their family above all else. When Nora shines an ultraviolet light on the troll bones, they immediately turn to ash. Inspired by this, she gets an idea and asks the prince for the biggest vehicle they have, which he provides, a large truck. Meanwhile, Andreas contacts Sigrid to update her on the situation. She informs them that a missile strike is planned soon. Andreas persuades her to hack into the military system to delay the attack. Meanwhile, Nora and Andreas load the skull of the troll child onto the truck and head toward the giant troll, hoping to draw it away. The creature, seeing the skull, becomes emotional and follows them. Nora contacts Captain Chris to arrange a large area with UV lights, which he manages to set up with the help of a military friend. Nora drives toward the UV setup while the troll follows them. Unfortunately, the skull falls and shatters along the way, leaving the troll devastated as it realizes that its family is gone. Enraged, it chases them to the specified location. At the same time, Sigrid is caught hacking the system by the defense minister, but she punches him and points out that many civilians are still in the vicinity, stopping the attack. Meanwhile, as the troll reaches the designated area, the UV lights are turned on, causing it to gradually burn. Seeing the creature in pain, Nora can't bear it and tries to reason with it, telling the giant to return to the mountains where it would be safe. However, it's too late. The sun rises, and its light falls directly on the troll, turning it to ash in an instant. In its final moments, Nora gently places her hand on its face, remembering her father's love for the creature. Andreas then suggests that there might be more trolls hidden in the mountains. In the final scene, we see the Dovre Mountains once again. Suddenly, rocks begin to tremble, and a creature starts emerging from beneath. And with that, the movie comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed my explanation. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so I can bring you more stories like this in the future. Thank you so much for your support. Smiling face with smiling eyes.